All right, girls, the cover of Maclean's magazine has everybody talking, and the article inside is called, "Are We Raising Our Boys to Be Underachieving Men?" It says in the article that on average that boys earn lower marks, they study less, and are more likely to repeat a grade than girls are. What do you think about that?
Well, I think we have to first preface that this isn't guy bashing or boy bashing, that, you know, because I think sometimes guys are like, we're feeling it from society and the women, because if you look at commercials and things, there's always the goofy guy or the guy that doesn't know how to do things, and then the strong woman comes in and saves the day, right? I mean, I've heard that side of things. But I do believe that, you know, reading the article, that there's a lot of good in there and truth. That as far as helping to support boys from an early age, especially in school, I don't think we've done a good enough job. I mean, honestly, to sit there and have boys listen to somebody lecture or talk, you know, boys are like, no, we just want to play and hang out and bash things, you know, get me outside for recess, you know, I'm just saying, or be creative. I don't know if we're creating that space for boys.
Well,
that's my thought.
The research has shown that, like, I think it was a kindergarten girl and a kindergarten boy have different brain development. It's been proven. And so they would learn then differently, I would imagine. A girl would be more mature and able to learn in a quieter, sedate way, whereas a boy might learn better doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, on the risk of everybody throwing papers and things at the television screen, you know, I kind of agree, because I remember talking to a lady years ago from South Africa, and she was saying that they're going through a time where the men are just sitting around doing nothing. And she said, you know, in a way, women have to be blamed for this as well, because we've created this society where it's like, I can do everything without a man. I don't need a man, you know? And so you've created this society where men feel like, well, if women could do it without me, then what's the point of me getting up and going to work? And so I wonder if, and you know, it's okay if you don't agree with me, but I wonder if we have to be blamed for this as well, that we haven't paid enough attention to our boys, and because we're trying to raise up our girls to be strong women and know that they can be independent, that we've kind of forgotten that boys need that nurturing and caring as well.
And there's a shocking lack of role models from men, not just in homes, but boy, in the public school system, you look at the ratio of female teachers to male, there's a great gap. And this is something, my husband says men have been being eviscerated since the women's movement in the late 60s and into the 70s. Here's a globe. They call it the man session, not the recession, the man session. The emasculated man. I'm only going to show you the top half of that article. And,
Thank you, Moira.
and if you were watching the political activity south of the border, it was hilarious when they did the edits on the women campaigners. Man up. It's time to man up. We heard it over and over again. Now here's a dad with his son. If you open this Maclean's article, what they're featuring is what we've been talking about, and that is the new roles for men. More male nurses, more mums, dads being mum at home while their wife goes and brings home a baby.
And we're not saying that that's bad.
Right, and I just think that it's confusion. I honestly believe it. It's like, you look at men and they're like, who are we supposed to be? You want us domestic? You want us, you know, with a hammer and mowing? You want us nurturing and caring? We want you listening. We want you, like, I really, you know, in defense of men, it's like, it is hard to navigate. And if you have a young boy who's a teen, he's like, I honestly don't know what to do. Do I open the door for my girl on the first date? Do I pay, or do we go Dutch? Like, these are all these questions. And I gotta be honest, the church isn't doing sometimes the best job in making a place for men to really excel. It's very feel-good, fun, feeling, singing.
And guys are not always that in tune with their feelings.
So I'm just saying, we need to be, as a society, men and women, creating places for boys and men to be that, giving opportunity.
That's why I love this whole idea of having separate schools. Like, I love the idea.
Well, the article says that might be the solution.
Because boys do learn totally different than girls do. And so if that means that we need to have them in a different environment so that they can excel, then I'm for it.
And you don't have to give them Ritalin to keep them under control.
Exactly.
I will say
just
this,
being boys.
Working with teens, and I also think that's why boys go into gaming so much. They can then be the man. They can create a false reality that makes them powerful, in control, and strong. So why don't we create those places here in real life versus in false reality? So
something the article also comments on, that it's not necessarily about occupation as much as it is about motivation. How do we motivate our, postgraduate young men to actually move out of the basement and get their own place and, scrimp and eat craft dinner if they have to, so that they can pay their own bills and pay their own car payment and car insurance. And I mean, car insurance alone, let me tell you, here in Canada, especially with two young guys under our roof, it's really expensive. So, we've got to try to help them, motivate them to, they're not going to come right out of the gate having everything, but they've got to sacrifice and they've got to feel the burn before they can actually enjoy. But the motivation to get there, how do we do that?
Well, I think the motivation isn't just not necessarily adventure, because I think there's an also issue with young people that we've created places of adventure, do whatever you want. I think it's creating adventure of commitment, motivating them to commitment, to responsibility, to discipline, and to adventure as well, but making those places for them. And
I think there's a great lack in modeling and in life skills training.
Yeah, absolutely, Moira, I agree.
It is an excellent conversation, and it's one that we hope continues as we do help to repair this little damage that's been done that can blossom into a lot more in our society.